it's very useful. I mean, in terms of marketing and your brand, I mean, there's never been an easier time to get your artwork in front of eyeballs if your aim is to sell your art. I have many good friends who they have no interest in selling their art, and they are fabulous painters. So that doesn't apply to them. But if you are interested in selling your art, getting into galleries or whatever it is, the internet is a wonderful tool if used wisely. When I first started, seeking out commissions, there wasn't an internet. It was all, can you imagine? It was all done by, oh, let's send out a mailer, let's send out a holiday greeting card, et cetera, et cetera. But the good news of that was you were doing direct one-to-one marketing where you were sending a handwritten note to the person, you knew the person, they knew you. And that is something that I'm still very grateful for, because those early commissions, those people are still now reading my email newsletter. And we're talking 20 years later, their kids have grown up, and to me, that's something really to learn, that one-to-one is still very, very important. And I think in terms of marketing our art, we have forgotten that, for those of us that are really in the sort of newer world, digital world, forgotten. And, in my opinion, and I can only speak from my own opinion, but Instagram and Facebook are just part of what I think I should be doing. My main thrust is still as much direct communication as I can get with people is still my goal. I mean, I'm, even in the thrust of my artwork, I'm interested in the direct interaction with people, the sitter, the person on the street. I'm a people watcher. I'd rather be sitting in a sidewalk cafe than in a forest. That's just me. I'm interested through my portrait art in, the unique thread of humanity that connects us all. And I know from my face project, which was a project done over a good 7 years, and it was tied in with 3 different newspapers, one in Ventura, one in Malibu, and one in Charleston. And the sitter would come in, do a 2-hour sitting, no more, because they're real people, they're not models. And then they would be interviewed for their life story, what they felt about being painted, and that would go into the newspaper's cycle. So that, to me, the sitter's life story was as important as, my painted sketch. And some of those sketches talk about putting your ego at the door. They weren't that good, but in fact, a lot of them weren't that good. But my thrust was, or my mission was, the direct interaction. So the moment that person left the room, their essence had gone. And in my opinion, for me, if I start touching it up from a photo afterwards, it looks more polished, but it's not the life force there anymore. So you have this juggle with, and my juggle was, no, I'm doing it that way. And it worked for me. And it was a tremendous experience. I think I did, oh my goodness, 67 people for the face of Ventura, I think 58 for the face of Malibu, and then I did 18 which is one of my most favorite series of portraits, the face of Malibu rebuilds, which was people who had lost their homes in the Woolsey fire. So talk about seeing someone at their lowest, and I interviewed those people and did watercolors of them, when they were no longer in their houses and they were in floods of tears. But yeah, that was the most extraordinary experience. And that will be the thing that I will never forget, the power of that. And I actually get a bit choked up talking about it now, because it was just such a powerful thing, and how also that art, as simple as it was, because these were pen and ink and watercolor drawings, it somehow meant something to them. And also, getting their little story, their big story in the paper about how they lost their fire, what they were doing. And by the way, this was the very early days of the fire. And I was displaced in a hotel too. The backside of my house got badly hit by the fire. So I was doing this from, a hotel that, with a bunch of the fire refugees. And yeah, that's the power of art and how it can help just a little bit. It's not going to bring their house back, but it did help. It was, you know, and I got so many emails after each one of those came out that it meant something to them.